Smoky skies across New England, 1 degree outside. Weather Network meteorologist Danielle Noyes here. This is the scene in so many cities and towns. This picture taken Wednesday morning up in Holderness, New Hampshire by Caroline. You can barely see the sun there and you can smell the smoke in some areas as well. Air quality alerts have been issued for the southern half of New England. Wouldn't be surprised if some of these extend farther north and are issued, and you zoom out the view. It's such a vast area that's under air quality alerts now. New York, Philly, down through DC, parts of New York into Ohio, Indiana, and Wisconsin, Michigan, in through Minnesota. Matt's been keeping an eye on some of the webcams this morning out of northern Wisconsin, and you could see across the harbor early this morning. Now the boats aren't even visible because that smoke came down to the surface. Almost looks a little foggy out there in spots. Now, air quality right now, as of this recording, is moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups, but there's a little bullseye here across southwest New Hampshire extending into central and eastern Massachusetts. So air quality alerts are up in many of these areas. For somewhere like Boston, for example, we are at about a 130 for an air quality index, and that falls into the unhealthy for sensitive group category. So if you do have respiratory issues, you definitely want to be inside today. The thick smoke across much of New England, the one exception, far northern Maine, where it's a little bit lighter. Each red dot on the map, by the way, representative of a local wildfire that's up, or a brush fire here in New England. But of course, ours originating from Ontario, northern Minnesota, and being pushed in our direction. Why? The jet stream. And this is the current jet stream pattern. You notice where it's pointing, right from where those wildfires are, right into the northeast. So the jet stream helps steer storms, but is that upper level wind that steers right into New England. So this is the predicted smoke over a layer of the atmosphere. And you notice through the day today, it's thick for most of central and southern New England. It does tend to thin out a bit from north to south over the course of late afternoon and evening, but notice it's still moderate and thickest across southwestern New England, Connecticut, the south coast, through this evening. Thins out a bit tonight, and it does make for beautiful sunrises and sunsets, kind of fiery in the sky as some of that smoke kind of refracts and bends some of the light. So tomorrow morning, beautiful sunrise, but do you notice that the smoke starts to come back into New England for our Thursday? Thickest over the course of the afternoon to evening for our Thursday. These deeper pinks and purples representing dense to really thick smoke across New England. Again, this is across a layer of the atmosphere. Some of it can stay aloft, high in the sky. Notice it does thin out a little bit again from north to south by Thursday overnight into Friday. This is the predicted smoke at the surface, though, and we have had reports of smelling it and seeing it lower in the atmosphere. When we get that wind to kick up a little bit too, that can help mix up the atmosphere and bring some of that smoke down to the surface and lower in the atmosphere. During Wednesday afternoon and evening, the southern half of New England, particularly along and south of the Mass Turnpike, may have the strongest scent of it, and it coming down farther south through the course of the evening and overnight. Thursday morning, not a whole lot of surface smoke. Note it's the key up the top here, generally light, although in Vermont into the Berkshires, it starts to become moderate during late morning. And I do think Thursday afternoon and evening, there may be a more widespread area that can smell the smoke and see it at the surface. Notice the deeper kind of yellows and oranges in here, indicating potentially moderate to dense smoke across much of central and southern New England, with again some clearing, or at least a reduction of that comes in from north to south by Thursday overnight. So a couple more days here to deal with this. Of course, you can track everything in our app. We've got the Send to Us tab. So many of you sending in pictures of the sunset and what you're seeing in your city or town for your weather moments. So many ways to submit your photos right on the app in that Send to Us tab. And on our website, we've got the community gallery page. You can always email us to reports@onedegreeoutside.com. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this 1 Degree Outside video.
Get exclusive content, support the mission at membership.onedegreeoutside.com. And don't forget, free and 5 stars on the App Store and Google Play. Search the #1 Degree Outside Weather.